everybody an idea of how I use Alibaba's Qwen. So I'm using their model Qwen 2.5 Max, and how I use it in development is I normally use it during build time. So when I'm working on a project, like for example, I'm working on a Next.js 15 project with auth, um, and I'll write some unit tests. And I right before I actually go and do my commit and push to the repository, I'll I'll run I'll run my build, and if I see any errors or warnings, then instead of me doing a bunch of searching around the code, I usually do search around the code if it's something, if there's a warning that I've seen before. But if there's something that just doesn't make a lot of sense, what I will do is I will copy and paste that error into Qwen Chat, which is Alibaba's new AI model. And they actually have multiple models here. But I'm going to be using the Qwen Max, 2.5 Max, the most powerful language model in the Qwen series. So that's the most common one, and it's free. So basically, what I would do is I'd run my npm run build, and I'd run my build, and basically, building is compiling your application for production. And that's basically going in and compressing the CSS, compiling the CSS files, taking all the components, and actually um, building them out from TypeScript into JavaScript into a manageable production public version of your application. So as you can see, there is, even though it built fine, there are some warnings in here. And let's see, let's go to the first one. Let's try this one. So there's one, I have a modal, a project creation step, project creation review. It says do not use array index as a key. All right, so it's pretty simple. I mean, I have a specific way that I do this inside of my app, but I'm curious to see how Qwen is going to suggest me do that. So here's what I do is I'll take a copy of the warning and I'll highlight it in my terminal. So I'm Command C or copy, and then I go into the actual file. So you can command click. I'm on a Mac. So this looks like this is a page that I created that has some dummy text in it. So let's see where it's making that complaint at. Somewhere I got a loop. Mapping something somewhere, and I'm using key. Let's see, where is it? Key. There we go. Well, it's highlighted, so it's giving me a warning. It says do not use array index as key. So let's see what Qwen will suggest that we do. All right, so here's what I do is I pop over to my other window and I say I am receiving an error in my Next.js TypeScript component. Error is, and then I will copy and paste the error, and then what I'll do is I come in here, I copy and paste. There's nothing specific in here, so there's nothing to be worried about the passiveness. This is literally just a component with some dummy text in it, so I'm not really worried about the content that's in here. And then usually what I'll do is I'll put something like this in there, and I'll just paste my code in there. Alright, so it says I'm receiving this error in my Next.js. The error, and then you don't have to ask it like, help me solve this, how do I fix it, what's your suggestion. It's smart enough to know that you're looking for a solution. So all I do is press send, and then let's see what it brings back. And I will say that Qwen 2.5 is probably the slowest of the models I've been using. I've also been using DeepSeek. DeepSeek has a ton of people using it right now. So the problem with DeepSeek is you would be using it, and it's doing its thing, and then next thing you know, like the Cloudflare thing happens, and it's rate limiting, and yeah. So uh, I'm not a big fan of DeepSeek. Queen Chat seems to be pretty reliable, but it does give you a little bit too much information sometimes. Like it goes to the problem, like it's literally teaching you. So I do like that. But yeah, so it looks like this is suggesting that I create. So it's telling me that I can use UUID4, and then instead of using my key that comes from my loop here, my map, and use an index, I can just pass the UUID function here, and it'll generate a specific UUID to solve for that. To be honest with you, I've used that method several times in the past, and I can almost guarantee you that it will work. Um, I've used that. If you don't necessarily need specific names, and just a UUID works, that'll work. So here's what I can do. I already have this UUID version 4 in my code. So what I'll do is I'll copy this, and I'll go all the way up, and I'll add it in there. Okay, and so that's there. And then I will go here, and then instead of copying, you can copy the whole thing, but I'm just going to copy the key since I know where it's at. And then I scroll down to where that index was. There it is. And then I'll just replace it. And so instead of using index, we'll use the UUID4, and then we can get rid of index since it's not being used anywhere. And what I do like to do is I will add let's see, what is this? This is probably, this is left and right. Oh, this is a table, TBL slash, and let me see if I got something wrong here. And then that looks right. What's the problem here? TBL. Here we go. And then save, and bingo. Alright, so now what we can do is we can run the build again to see if we still get that error. So let's go here, npm run build, and then let's see, we should not get that array error again. But I've been using AI in some of my coding projects lately, and I'm finding it to be pretty efficient. Hopping back through screens is a little annoying. I wish some of these models would be in like one plugin, like VS Code plugin that I can switch between. But maybe that's something to think about building. A plugin that lets you switch between Qwen, DeepSeek, and others. Alright, so it looks like that is gone. There is another error in here, or another warning, another couple of warnings related to the same component that I've been having some issues with. But as you can see, that array warning went away. There's no more warnings outside of this one here. But that's how I use it, and it seems to be pretty efficient. Like I said, it would be better if there was just one Visual Studio Code plugin that allowed you to tap into Queen Chat, OpenAI, some of the free modules that allow you to just quickly come in and spin up code without having to see all of the the footnotes and going into the solution and all that stuff. Sometimes we don't necessarily need that. We just need a quick solution to make our development process faster. So that's how I've been using it, and hopefully somebody can see this and learn from how I've been using it. I've basically been using the same thing with some of the other free models. Be very careful not to include or upload any of your personal information. So I tend to use the AI in my development when I'm building like templates and any sort of components or component-based uh, project without it actually hitting the database where my data or any of my specific company information does not appear in the results. So be careful not to upload or push any of your data, anything specific that you want to keep private into these models. Okay, as you can see over here, I've been using it a lot. I've copied and pasted one of my creation forms and had it rework it. I did a conversion for one of my components. I use it in TypeScript a lot, so utilize it, and I'll try and do more videos on how I use AI within my development. But for now, hopefully this is good. Take care.